watching Blue Blood Sports TV.
Shout out to Blue Blood Sports TV.
You're watching Blue Blood Sports TV.
Shout outs to Blue Blood Sports TV.
You're watching Blue Blood Sports TV. Hola, habla Cindy, está viendo Deportes TV.
What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So, wow, I was just watching Max on Boxing on ESPN. He had a special guest, Shakur Stevenson, Olympic silver medalist, on the show. And he was asking Shakur Stevenson, interviewing him, right? Shakur Stevenson has an upcoming fight this Saturday. And we know Shakur Stevenson stepped up in competition when he faced Christopher Diaz, right? With that said, Max Kellerman asks Shakur Stevenson, who do he think is the best prospect, rising star prospect coming up? He says that, Teofimo Lopez is one. He said, Max Kellerman said that when I think about the rising stars, the upcoming stars that I believe that can take over the sport of boxing and be pound for pound, I think of yourself and Teofimo Lopez. He stated that, but when it comes to Teofimo Lopez, he gets these highlight knockout reels. He has a lot of power. He's real brash and outspoken, and things of that nature. He said, but, you are very technical. He said, but Floyd Mayweather showed us that you don't have to be a knockout artist. You don't have to have all the power in the world. You don't have to be a heavyweight. You don't have to be, a knockout artist, right? To be, he said that you don't have to be Mexican, to make a name for yourself in the sport of boxing. You don't have to carve out a name for yourself and your legacy. You don't need all those things. Floyd Mayweather debunked all those notions, right? And Teofimo Lopez, he says, and Teofimo Lopez just happens to fall in line with, he has a lot of knockout power. He's real brash, outspoken, and he's flashy. He said, so a lot of attention goes his way. He said, of course, I know that you're going to pick yourself. He says, but when it comes to, the general public, Teofimo Lopez jumps out at him. Max Kellerman then said, me personally, I think about you. Says, what do you think? Shakur Stevenson then says, well, I think that Top Rank, ESPN, has an agenda, and they favor guys like Teofimo Lopez, VASYL Lomachenko, and Tyson Fury, right? He didn't say VASYL Lomachenko's name and Tyson Fury's name, but he said Teofimo Lopez's name, and he mentioned ESPN and Top Rank, and he stated that they favor Teofimo Lopez and other guys, meaning VASYL Lomachenko and Tyson Fury, right? He says, so they have an agenda. It's unfair. They clearly favor them, so they're pushing them. That's why you know about them. He said that I stepped up in competition. I'm levels above Teofimo Lopez at this point in time. No disrespect to him, because he's a great fighter. He said, a great prospect. He said, but, the level of competition Christopher Diaz that I faced and clearly beat from pillar to post from round 1 to 12. And the only reason Christopher Diaz was able to get to the 12th round is because he went into survival mode and didn't leave himself open to get knocked out, right? He wouldn't take the chance. It's very difficult. We all know it's very difficult to knock out a guy who's there just to survive, right? So with that said, he says that they have an agenda. This is something that we have been saying. We have been saying this, right? We know that they favor VASYL Lomachenko over Terrence Crawford, who's in their stable, right? We saw the circus they put on for Tyson Fury, and he's not from America, right? We see how they do with Conlon, right? He gets fights on Irish holidays and things of that nature because he's from Ireland, right? So they promote him that way. Shakur Stevenson has a homecoming fight, and people barely know who it is, and they struggle to get an opponent for this fight, right? He went through about 4 different opponents before he secured an opponent for this fight, and we still don't know if this opponent is actually going to step through the ropes. We got to wait till he actually steps through the ropes, right? But when it comes to Conlon, he has no problem being promoted on Irish holidays and, being promoted to the Irish and, playing to that, right? When it comes to Tyson Fury, he's from the UK. But guess what happened with Tyson Fury, right? They had him over there, a complete circus. Complete circus. He came out to Apollo Creed, all-American trunks. You know, the promotion for it was heavy, right? They didn't do that for Terrence Crawford. You understand? Then you look at the way they treat VASYL Lomachenko, right? Like he walks on water. This is how they talk. But the general boxing, hardcore boxing fans understand that Terrence Crawford is the best pound-for-pound fighter in the world. He's recognized, highly recognized, right? And throughout the sport of boxing as the best pound-for-pound fighter in the world. Took over since Andre Ward retired. Hasn't relinquished that title, right? But yet they continue to pretend and push the agenda and push the notion that VASYL Lomachenko is the best fighter in the world, and he's doing stuff that you've never seen in the sport of boxing done before, which is total nonsense, right? So we know what it is. And I'm glad Shakur Stevenson took this opportunity, took this moment to put them on blast and highlight them and let it be known he's just not being pushed and promoted like the other guys on ESPN and Top Rank, point blank and period. He says that ESPN is biased. He said that Top Rank have an agenda. So with this said, we can expect Shakur Stevenson not to be signed to Top Rank for too much longer, right? I'm almost certain that we're going to see Shakur Stevenson make changes. You know, it's very clear that they, Top Rank ESPN, have an agenda. They push a fighter that they want, you know, and that's just what it is. When you look at Conlon, right? He came out around the same time as Shakur Stevenson. This guy, you know, is being promoted like he's the only fighter in the world. Like he's the only fighter in the world, right? It's really ridiculous, you know. He's a featherweight. It's like Shakur Stevenson doesn't exist if you compare the two. Mick Conlon is 11-0 with 6 knockouts, right? But he doesn't have a. He fought at Madison Square Garden on Irish holidays, right? On St. Patrick's Day and things of that nature, right? How come Shakur Stevenson didn't fight in Black History Month, right? Martin Luther King birthday, Malcolm X birthday, something like that, right? Highlight him. No, that's not what happened, right? And we understand what it is. They do the same thing to Terrence Crawford. But they don't do that to Tyson Fury. And he's from the UK. They put on a complete circus. They don't do that to Mick Conlon. They don't do that to VASYL Lomachenko. But we understand what it is, right? But I'm glad Shakur Stevenson highlighted them, pointed them out, and brought them into the light so everybody could see on national TV, on Max on Boxing, right? I'm glad he did that. But that's all I got for y'all, man. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Blue, Blue Blood Sports TV. Hate, like, comment, and subscribe. You haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the bell icon to get all the new notifications. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all one word. You already know what it is. Shout out to the entire LDBC. Shout out to New Media. Shout out to Black Media Row. Make sure you like and share these videos. Shakur Stevenson calls out Top Rank and ESPN on Max on Boxing on ESPN. He says ESPN is biased and has an agenda. So I got for y'all. Peace.